Hi, I'm Direct Sun. I've written a few puzzle dungeons and I really like them. If you're not familiar with the kind of adventure I'm talking about, you can go to my blog and check it out. I talk about them extensively. It's puzzledungeon.com. So I want to see more puzzle dungeons, so I'm hosting the Puzzle Dungeon Jam on Itch. You create a tabletop puzzle dungeon adventure. It runs from November 3rd to December 15th. Periodically throughout, I will give feedback on early submissions. So I hope people submit their thing early so I can check it out and give feedback, and we can get the best version possible. People can change it and resubmit it if they want to. I'd ask if you find the feedback useful, add me as a contributor in some fashion, like dev, editing, or puzzle dungeon consultant, whatever. Um, uh, and the goal of the feedback is not to bash the entries in any way. It's just to help everyone get the best possible version that they can out there. And there's a lot of fun ways to do that. There's the Discord, the Zine Month Discord, which we have a guest channel on for the Puzzle Dungeon Jam. Everyone is super helpful there, and it would be really awesome to find a contributor there if you had an idea or didn't quite know how to do anything. I'm there too if you have questions. I can answer them for you. Anyway, that's the jam. I'm probably not going to be able to give feedback for all of the submissions, but I will do them in the order that they are submitted. And if I, for some reason, totally skip yours or forget it or whatever, just ping me, message me or whatever. I'm Direct Sun on Discord, and we'll get it sorted. Today I'm looking at Sven Ghoulie's Crypt. This is for Shadow Dark RPG. This is by Revivify Games. This is a very early submission. I am looking at a version which I grabbed from October 29th, 2025. I'm super excited to get started though, so this is awesome. It's totally fine that it is early, technically before the jam even began, but I mean, as long as we get more puzzle dungeons, I am super happy about it. I have given this a look already, and I've marked up the document with some comments. This is Sven Ghoulie's Crypt. The first thing you'll notice is the form factor. It's unique, I would say. It's like A5, but it's turned on its side, which is pretty cool. If you took maybe like one page like this, it would be like an A4 page, right? And so instead of splitting it in half this way and putting it on its side, instead it's split the other way. So it's a super long adventure module, not very tall, but super long. And that allows it to squeeze a bunch of information in the margins and have like a mini map on the side over there, which is pretty cool. And one thing I noticed during my reading was that this particular map that they have going on over here allows it so it's very easy to see where the characters are going to go. If they're walking off the side of the map over here, you know that there's 1, 2, 3 different places that they could go to when they go on the corresponding half. And they're right over here. 1, 2, 3. So you don't need to waste too much space. You just have the information that you're looking for right here, which is pretty smart design. I like that. So let's get to it. I have my closing comments on everything over here, which I can go over first, and then I can go over more detail what I thought about each of the sections. So again, this is Sven Ghoulie's Crypt. It's a level 1 or 2 adventure for Shadow Dark. written by Anthony J. Zini. Some artwork by William McAusland, used with permission. And everything's done by Anthony. Okay. So, these were my final comments. I am pumped to play in this space after reading it. Basically, the gist here is we have this this bandit. I think his name is Sven. His name is not Sven Ghouli, but he's laying low, and he decided to lay low in this crypt over here, and he decided to take on the guise of a vampire. He got the idea that he's going to pretend to be a vampire. I like this idea a lot. I've thought about NPCs pretending to be a vampire, and it's hilarious. So what's happening is townsfolk are getting kidnapped. Not actually kidnapped, but they are disappearing. And, classic PCs are brought in to figure out what's going on. There's a reward from the mayor, right? Find out what's happening. So this trickster, this bandit or whatever, is taking on the guise of a fake vampire. He's promising people, his thralls, his vampire thralls, that he will give them eternal life. And he talks with a cheesy Dracula accent. So he's Sven Ghouli. And he's got some fake teeth and stuff. And amazingly, they're falling for it. So they believe that there's some legit supernatural stuff going down. So they're actually kidnapping victims. I guess they are. And these are some of the victims. This person's like a thrall. Alina. So there is some real vampire stuff going down here, or at least there was a long time ago. And there are real threats in the dungeon to deal with. So maybe he cracked something open that he really shouldn't have. So after reading this, I'm super pumped to play in the space. I like the area. I like the idea. Sven Ghouli, I really want to play that NPC. He sounds very fun. This adventure needs a theme. And there's a lot of stuff with the moon in here. There's a lot of stuff you can do with moonlight. That's repeated a bunch. And I think that you can really lean into that. You can tie your theme into nearly all of your puzzles. And I think you really should. You could do more than one theme if you want. It doesn't just have to be one. These are vampires. You got some blood stuff going on in here. So you could do moon and blood, or just blood, just moon. If you mix the two, maybe the vampires are also werewolves. There was the Vampire Diaries, I think. Spoilers, maybe? I don't know. The werewolves wanted to turn into vampires, so for one reason or another, I don't know. But maybe it's a mix of those two kind of things. There's a lot you can do with these two themes. So grab one or two gimmicks to go along with those themes, repeat them in different ways, add on to them. This is like you're forming the building blocks of your puzzle dungeon, right? You want to start off small and kind of build up with those puzzles. Moonlight, there's a lot you can do with it. It transforms, it empowers, it maddens. You can reveal secrets with it. It harbins omens of death, war, famine, fertility. You can use one or more of these elements in your puzzles, and you can build on it with things which change it. And I'll get into more detail on that, of where I think it could be useful. You could use the moonlight to reveal things, or open doors, or unlock things, or make things work or not. And there's some puzzles that deal with blood too, and if you want to lean that way, blood is life. It nurtures, it creates, it's energy. You can use it as fuel, right? It's liquid. You can use it in that form. It can flood a room, just like the elevators from The Shining, right? You can freeze it. You can dry it out. It can be rehydrated. You can mix some with potion ingredients. There's a lot you can do with blood. What about the vampire blood too? Maybe you can grab that. Maybe that's treasure that that a party might want to use. There's a recipe you can use to mix that up to gain some kind of advantage. What else I got over here? So there's a few things that you can do to tie into the theme too with your hooks. I know you have the Sven Ghouli, which is good. I would like there to be a bit more going on with that too, a bit more nefarious. So maybe he opened up something that he really shouldn't have. He was messing, he was dabbling. So there's a big bad who will eminently return or will be on the loose or something. Some kind of pressure for the players. Because right now it's a little bit dependent on the players to act for something to happen. It's neat, I think, to have like a timer for something or a forcing factor to entice players to dig deeper, not necessarily just to rescue the townspeople, which I think is good too. I think it's a good ancillary goal. One idea I had here is like maybe the moon's been full for a whole month and that's freaking people and animals out, and it would freak me out too. Yeah, I said I'd like something more to be going on. Maybe broke an ancient seal or something, and the head vampire will eventually revive or something. All right. So we got the background going on over here. So it's been 2 weeks. Townspeople have been disappearing. 50 GP reward from the mayor. Alina, she is a missing townspeople, right? She is the thrall. She's a halfling trader. On the first read through, I totally missed that Alina was a townsfolk gone missing. She's repeated in different ways here. She might be in one room, she might be in another, and all of her information is repeated. It only needs to be somewhere once. If you want Alina to be kind of like one of the more focused NPCs, it kind of seems like she might be fun trying to convince her like, hey, this is not the way. Sven Ghouli is not who he claims to be. And that's a fun interaction. That's a fun thing to go off of. I think that's what you were trying to get at. I think if you want to go that way, it should be called out explicitly, probably next to the background, not buried in each of the map entries. Yeah, I just think that if you want to be the challenge to rescue her, I don't think players are going to try too hard just to convince a random thrall if they don't already know that this is a person that they should be trying to convince to go, right? Like you should be looking for a halfling. You should be looking for this person who has this description, a little bit more for the referee to go off of, and then a little bit more for the players to go off of too. Okay, so Davis the Swindler, that's the bandit's real name, right? He's taking on the guys as Sven Ghouli. He actually ran into a former real vampire den. The vampires some of them are still around, but like the big bads are not really a threat anymore. And it would be nice if they were around, if the players could screw up and accidentally let something loose that they shouldn't have. I love it when that happens. They get all the warning signs. This is not a good place for you to go, but they open it anyway, right? And then you reward them with some awesome, fun additional story points. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think the treasure was a bit slim in the adventure too. I know it's written for Shadow Dark. I played it once or twice, and I'm not totally familiar with how the treasure system works in there. I know XP is handled slightly different than, say, like BX, OSE. I want to see some more fun magic items. You got the circlet, you got the dagger in here. I want some more magic items that tie into a theme that you have, be it blood or like moon or whatever. Maybe something that creates moonlight, or a consumable that creates sunlight, because that would be a big thing in a den with vampires. But maybe not necessarily you want to throw a sun sword or something to a first or second level party. Maybe just want a consumable so they have it once, twice, three times a lady or whatever. Or maybe something that creates darkness, right? Go the other way. You got a lot of moonlight. Now it's time for you to subvert that theme, right? You're using moonlight to reveal, to do all these other things. Maybe you have a space where there is moonlight and you need to get it away from the space. So you divert the light. You create darkness. You get rid of it and you treat it in a different way. What do we got here? Oh, it's good advice. This is a lot of stuff from one of my blog posts on puzzledungeon.com on running puzzle dungeons. This is good stuff. It's nice to see it there. Rumors in town. People gone missing. Here we have the mini map on the side. This is the beginning of the dungeon key. So this area is not on this particular mini map, which is fine. It's not super important. It's optional, the mausoleum. It's this area right here. How the key shows it now, it's actually a little bit difficult to see from the map that to get to the crypt, you have to walk along the back side of the mausoleum in order to get there. It would be nice to have a notation on the side over here that to get to the crypt, like, you know, just a little note here, like, crawl around the back, go down these stairs, and you'll be at the crypt. Or put a little stairs over here. I guess this is the back. This is the entrance, right? So it's locked. And there's a optional encounter that you could have in here, but this is totally optional. The juice is in the crypt. And I think I said that over here. Yeah. And it might not even be necessary, really, even, you know? It's just an encounter is a 50-50 chance that there is a person in here. Actually, Elena, one of the people that you want to rescue. So, you might even drop this this key altogether and just start off with the crypt. Just start strong. What we got? Yeah, you mentioned the buckets over here. And the buckets are for making a mud puddle. But that's the only time that it's referenced. I don't know what this puddle of mud is for. It doesn't seem to be important for something. I thought maybe it was going to be a mud-themed dungeon. And I got excited. I hope one day to make my own mud-themed dungeon. But I don't think it is. I don't think that would make sense in this context, and I think you should get rid of this line. All right, you got some rugs here. There's 2 rooms with huge rugs lining the entirety of the room. This is a huge room, and there's a huge rug in there. And there's nothing underneath it in this entry. And I know it would be fun for the players to look under this rug. If I'm a player in a game and someone describes a huge ass rug lining it, I'm rolling that thing up and I'm looking what's underneath. And I think in the second entry where you have a huge rug lining through it, there is something underneath there, but I think it was just a bunch of skulls. So it would be fun to have some kind of reward or additional optional challenge for groups that think to look under the rug. Yeah, maybe it's some treasure or a treasure gated behind a puzzle, which ties into your theme. For the table, this entry, it wasn't super clear to me that you could pour something into it, right? When we're talking about something carved into the table, I didn't know that there was an opening there where you can pour blood into. Basically, you pour blood into this and it opens up a panel in the wall, revealing the secret door to the next room. So just there's a little hole in there. There's some dried blood in there too. You mentioned the dried blood in this bowl that smells of iron. Mention it in the table. The previous usage, still there. They were obviously using the bowl. They were pouring it in there. There would be traces of blood on the table too. And that extra hint will really help because, communication with puzzle dungeons can be very difficult. Video games have all the beeps and the boops, and they can move the camera. You flip a switch in Zelda, the camera moves. It pans. The video game player immediately sees the door across the map pop open, right? That they remember from last time, right? We don't have that luxury. We just have collective imagination land. So it can be a little tough. These are great clues. Yep, that's what I just mentioned. It would be great if there were secret door markings on the map. I think right here was the one that we're just in, right? Room number 3. It's a little hard just at a glance to see what is a secret room and what this was referring to. So on the south wall, you put the blood in the table, and it opens up over here. So just a little S over there. That would be nice on the secret rooms. Or some marking on the map. Alina. So she's mentioned in a bunch of different entries. I already mentioned this before. She should be in the background. Should take her out of here or put some different cultists in here. I think she might be in 5 or 6 different entries, and she has the same text. And I think, again, what you're going for is like they should get some kind of hint that she's what she's being promised to learn some more information. Eventually, they are going to find her in a room, but I'm not sure sticking her in every key is the best way to do that. Just in general, if there is something important for the referee to know, it should be closer to the top. For your players, I'm of the mind that you should save the important stuff to the end. So you describe everything, and then, there's some zombies that are coming at you. Just so they don't check out immediately when you say that, and then say, also there's a floating key in the room over a pedestal. They're going to immediately say, oh crap, there's some zombies coming at me, and forget about the key. That's why I think you should change that order, at least for puzzle dungeons. Probably other stuff too. But if there's something that the players should know, or something that the GM should know when running this, then you should put that up front. In this case, you have the read aloud text up here talking about this whole room, and then Alina's entry is the last one here, which is that she could be in here praying at this altar. So I can imagine myself reading this, and then they're deciding what to do, and then I'm using that time to look over each of these entries, and then I get to this one. I'm like, oh, whoops. I roll a die, and I'm like, actually, I forgot to mention there's someone praying at the altar. So this is at the top or somewhere over here. It would be good. But like I said, Alina, I don't think that she should be in the entries anyway. So make this another cultist or a different encounter or take her out. Yep. Over here, you reference just the 3 knives works like a dagger, but later on, you mention a wooden stake and just have the damage, right? So just mention the damage. It's shorter to just put in parentheses 1d4 instead of dagger, and it's less to look up. I don't have to look up what damage dagger does. These random encounters, I like them, but a lot of them, they're not in the dungeon. There's no hellhounds in the dungeon. There's no cave creeper, which may be a carrion crawler. I'm not sure. I'm not sure with the bestiary in Shadow Dark. And there's no ghost in any of the map keys. So if you want to keep these guys, give them a place where they might be hanging out when they're not on the random encounters table. That's always fun. To run into a hellhound, which might be like a pet of Sven Ghouli. Maybe that he's befriended a hellhound, right? Maybe the hellhound loyalties don't always lie with Sven Ghouli, right? Maybe you can coerce the hellhound if you convince it that you're the actual vampire thrall and should listen to you. their masters have been gone for a while, and you're the actual rightful descendants or whatever. I don't know, but it would be nice to see these folk in the keys, or just take out the ones that just seem kind of random. Because if the Hellhound's not hanging out over here, where did they come from? What are they doing? Did they just materialize in? Maybe that's enough. Yep. I wasn't sure about Alina at first. Now I know what was going on. The feeding room. There's a lot of bolding in the entries. It was a little tough for me sometimes to scan things to find what the important stuff is. Which is weird, right? Because the bolding is supposed to tell you what is the important stuff. I think in like OSE house style and some other house styles, you would bold the things in the read aloud text, and then there would be entries for them below. And I see that you have extra stuff in there. Some items are bolded, some items are bolded and underlined. Some of the enemies are bolded and underlined. It's fine to pick a style, but you gotta stick with it and be consistent with it. You could throw some color in there if you want, but I think as is, this is bolded up a bit too much. You probably don't need to bold Examine the Cross, or you can make it a separate section. I would say for this particular format with the read aloud text and the bold, stick with these as your key entries. Don't make this bold. Once they go to the sculpture, the GM's naturally going to say, okay, they're interacting with the sculpture. What can they do with the sculpture? You don't need to draw your attention over here. It's already a sub-bullet kind of thing. Yep. Secret door icons, passage icons on the map. You can get rid of this first line. You're describing how one party may enter this room, which is when they pour blood into this table and this wall descends into this area. Not every party is going to go that way. I know a first or second level party will probably not have access to pass wall or something else, but they could get in here another way. And even if they don't, it's a little bit confusing for me, at least, if that kind of trigger is right in the read aloud text. It reads just the same if you say there's a room with a low pool and walls covered by tapestries. It does the same thing. You can leave it to the GM to describe the wall sinking into the floor, which they probably did in Area 3 already, if they poured it into the table. Forgotten Tomb. This is cool. I like flooded areas. I think it's fun. Water is dangerous. Water is scary. Who knows what's in there, right? There's a lot going on in this one particular entry. It's a little hard to follow sometimes. So what do you have? What you have here is a flooded room. There's cloudy water. You can't see underneath it, right? But you have the information on what's underneath the water under this heading, which is when the water is cleared. And this is dependent on some things happening. I would like to see this stuff under a different heading. I would like to see this under, here is water. It's cloudy. You can't see underneath it. This is what is underneath the water. You have a bunch of caskets. You have this drain and stuff. And then separately, you have, this is what happens when you clear the drain. This is how you clear the water. And that reveals what's under the water, which is in the other section. Doing this drains the water and has other effects. But this is hard for me to scan at a glance what's under the water. I would immediately go to water and say, oh, wait, what was over here? There's caskets, there's a statue. Oh, it's under here. That's where this is. So just a little reorganization would really help this entry out. I like the draining water. Like I said, the water is always fun. Yeah, so the vampires just reorganization uh, described in a different spot. Vampires should be under the caskets, I think. Yeah, I think right now they're only mentioned here, which is under removing the circlet from the statue. But I want to see them in the caskets. I hear rustling sounds, but as a GM, I want to know what those rustling sounds are. I won't tell that to the players, though, until they open it. Circlet of Undead. Oh, yeah. Just a typo here. You have amulet instead of circlet. This is a cool item. You have here that it can only be worn by chaotic character, and it deals damage to anyone else who's using it. And that's not a trade-off that I think is super gameable. I think every turn, I don't remember exactly in Shattered Arc what every turn is. I don't know if that's 10 seconds, 10 minutes, but it seems bad. I would like to see this usable by everyone with a different kind of trade-off. That would be an interesting decision for a player to make. This is a cool item. I would like to use this. Is it worth the trade-off? Am I curse the wielder in a different way? Like maybe they don't benefit from holy magic anymore because they pissed off the gods by wearing this thing. Something like that. What we got here? Yeah, I like how the map connects off the page. I talked about that earlier. The three sections, so you know exactly where you're going from each of the entries without having to note it on the map. The Moonbeam Puzzle. So there were just a few things that were ambiguous about this entry. I wasn't sure if the light was going all the time. I know in the first entry you mentioned that a door is locked if it's during the day, but at night it's unlocked and it's got a moon, and that's cool. That's a neat way to introduce it. Yeah, I guess we're talking about the first entry. It would be neat if, in that first entry for the thing over here that maybe there was some sunlight or some moonlight pouring down, right? And that's what unlocked the door. That would tie into a moonlight theme. When the moon is shining, which it has been for the past 2 weeks or a month or however long, the door is unlocked, which means that it would be unlocked at night because the moon's going to be shining down its light at night. Otherwise, it would be sunlight and locked. I think that would be cool. So this one, back to this one with the other moonbeam kind of thing. I'm imagining the situation is there's a statue. The statue has a shield. The shield is painted over. On close examination, there's a reflective surface under the shield. And I think you're supposed to be cleaning off the paint or whatever and moving this statue, rotating it so that the beam shines on like a wall basically and is unlocking something. And it wasn't super clear from the description that the statue was angled that particular way. So I think if you just kind of reword this, reorganize it a little bit to make that more clear, it would help. And yeah, I wasn't sure if like there was a ceiling here where the moonbeam was coming from. That wasn't super clear to me. I want to see more moon stuff. This is fun. I like the moonbeam. It's very Ocarina of Time, Temple of Light, the mirror shield. I dig it. There wasn't a lot of themed stuff so far. I would like to see moon themed stuff throughout. I would like to see stuff to interact with, stuff that makes moonlight, little optional things to get into with moonlight. There's a really cool tree later on, which I really like, which I think would benefit from that also, which glitters in the moonlight as written. Small typo, just 2 T's in there. I think this wording could be changed, as I mentioned. What do we got? Nitrine. The joke vampire name as a clue. I don't think is going to work. It's a neat little trap. It's a small shrine. There's a kneeling pad, which I wasn't sure what a kneeling pad is, but I think you could probably make it obvious as a GM in the game. And if you grab the stuff on there without kneeling, the trap triggers. Which, yeah, poison. But if you're kneeling, it'll be like, cool, it's awesome. You can grab the items off the table. And that's cool. I think that stands on its own. Not everything has to be on theme. Even if you have a moonlight or blood theme, I think this is a super fun trap to have and keep them on their toes. Like, they should be thinking about other stuff also. But the name, I think it's tonally dissonant from the rest of the work. Sven Ghouli, I love him. He's an awesome NPC, but this was an actual vampire lair, right? And it would take me out of it if I knew that this vampire's name was Count Neil Lowe. It's funny. I don't think any of the players would get it. And I think a referee explaining it and then saying, oh, you got screwed, and now Count Neil Lowe takes his revenge, just doesn't hit as well as the natural interactions that you're going to have with Sven Ghouli. Please, I will offer you eternal life. Oop. Pay no attention to that. That's, I dig that more. Bathing room. Yeah, I wasn't sure on the layout of this space. It's basically a bathroom. There's wine barrels sawn in half. I had to look that up. I didn't know that was the past tense of saw. That's cool. I didn't know if the previews had doors. Basically just wanted to know, as a referee, if the players enter this room, are these two cultists going to be immediately aware of their presence? Or is there going to be some stealthy shenanigans going on? Or maybe just one of them is aware of their presence. I wasn't sure. Making that clear would be awesome. Yeah, I think just the wording could change a little bit to make this more clear, but it's not a huge thing. Giving them time, change it to which gives them time, I think would make the sentence flow a little better. The long rug. Love the rugs. I think I said this before. It would be nice to have something discoverable under there instead of just some skulls that don't add anything to the gameability of the module. It's just kind of there for decoration. Oh, there's some skulls there. But if instead under the rug there was like a hidden niche with a vampire corpse in there, and it's like desiccated and clutching something, treasure, lore, a trap or something, that's at least something they can interact with and reward their curiosity with, instead of just some skulls. The 4-foot round glass sphere with a diamond in it. I wasn't sure what this looks like. It's a 4-foot glass sphere. There's a diamond in it. How big is the diamond? Is it fist size? It says that if you move the sphere around or roll it or whatever, there's a 50% chance of breaking it because of the diamond in there, which scratches it. And I wasn't sure exactly how this looks, how this is supposed to work. I'm interested in it from a challenge standpoint for the players, but I wasn't sure what it looks like. Yeah, I think, you have the mural of the blood moon is over here. That's above it in a recess in the ceiling. I love the imagery of the blood moon. I like that over there. I think it should be a hint for something with moonlight. You have, I think, 3 or 4 references to the moon in here. This should mean something. You're repeating it again. There should be a reason why the moon is in here. Shine the light somewhere. Take the moonlight away from somewhere else. It should be a hint for something. The player should be rewarded for looking for those connections. It's a repetition moment. Which is important to have in puzzle dungeons. Yep. Unsure how that looks. She can be convinced to go home. Oh, hi, Elena. Yeah, talked about her. The bunks. Elena. Aha, the item, the dagger. It's a vampiric dagger. It heals you when you do damage. Don't gate this around alignment. I don't know how many of your players play chaotic alignments. Maybe it's different for other groups, but I usually ignore alignment, or most of my players are lawful. Maybe one person's chaotic. That would be fun, but just let everyone use the cool thing. It's cool. Let them use it. Give them a trade-off. Give them something for it. It's a +1 dagger. It heals the user for 50% of the damage dealt. That's fun. It's neat. Give them a big trade-off to think about. This is a super cool item. Give them a ticking clock on it, right? Something like that. Like a blood meter. Like there's a rivet going down the center of this blade, right? It fills with blood that like increases when you do hits with it or get kills or something, right? And things get ominous as it grows, right? Like as it grows, maybe like 2 or 3 times, 4 times, I don't know. It develops a dark aura and it starts whispering like nonsensical, like hell speech into the wielder's head. They should know that something weird and awful is going to happen if this thing fills up all the way. And if they let that happen, you should deliver on it. So, revives the master vampire or a specter or something terrible, right? You need to hint at this. Make it a super fun item with a drawback and give them that option to use it or not. Make it clear. They will choose their own demise. Or not. What do we got? Sun sickness. Oh, yeah. That's good too. I like that. I didn't see that before. As you enter the room, there's a breeze. As you enter this room, you're hit with a breeze that smells of rot and iron. Is there actually a breeze here? I was a little confused because as a player, I would definitely be looking for a secret door. It sounds like a drafty secret door to me, but that didn't seem like this would be the case in here. If there's not a breeze, just use a different word. The fruit here. There's heart-shaped fruit hanging from this tree, this giant tree. Oh, and there's the open sky above. I didn't notice that before. Definitely reference that on the environment map or in a separate entry. If there's an open area that can be used as an entrance, make note of that, because any players who comb the area, they should be rewarded for that and be able to use this as a second entrance. And now you've jaquazed your dungeon, baby. This fruit, just make it hearts. Just make it growing hearts. A heart-shaped fruit that bleeds blood, basically, blood-like juice. It's effectively a heart. Just say it grows human hearts, and bam, you have something which is freaking me out. I like it. Just change the wording. It's not as cool to say heart-shaped fruit. It's a heart. It grows human hearts. A shimmer in the moonlight. I love this, that they shimmer in the moonlight, these leaves. And I wasn't clear. I missed that part where this is open to the sky. I wasn't sure if moonlight could ever come in here. It would be neat for players to be able to make moonlight and show this happen and have this go on. So I guess this really doesn't apply over here. I was thinking about different ways where you could reward them for shining the moonlight on here, for thinking to do that, right? So if moonlight was the theme of the dungeon, you reward them for trying it out on different stuff, and instead of poisoning them when they eat the heart fruit, maybe moonlight changes the heart fruit and makes it into like an apple or something, which makes it edible and cures disease. But maybe you have to do it when it's attached to the tree to modify the apple. But I was thinking that before I knew that this place was open to the above, so maybe that wouldn't work here, but I still like that idea. Maybe somewhere else. Another moon mural or some kind of moon iconography would be fun here. I imagine they would probably be here at night, though, so the moon may or may not be shining. But make that clear, because that would be confusing to me. I'm like, I don't know, is the moon shining tonight? Maybe. Maybe the moon is always shining. Hello, Alina. Writing desk. Coffin. Sven Ghouli. Love this guy. He talks with a fake Transylvania accent. He's hilarious. He's got fake fangs that slip after every few phases. He's great. I can't wait to roleplay as this guy. But 50% chance that he's here. He's on the random encounter list, but there's only a 50% chance that he is in his lair. Make it 100% chance. This is a fun encounter. If they have not encountered him elsewhere, have him asleep. Have him in here. It's worth it for the cool thing. If I was running this, I would be disappointed if they got to this room and never met Sven Ghouli. Makeshift cell cabinet. Yeah, let's see. I wasn't sure if this was free information that the players would know. The characters, rather. What you have here is a page ripped from a tome on vampires, and it's how to create wards, right, to keep them from passing through a threshold. Is it expected that the PC should be able to use this information to their advantage? That would be cool. I could make a ruling as a GM, but it would be nice to know that. Like, can it be read? Is it in the common tongue? Like, oh, anyone who picks this up would be able to recognize this and with research know that or something. I would probably rule that way, but I wouldn't be sure as a GM if that would break anything or if that would apply to this particular encounter, which is fun. Speaking of which, there's a mirror here, and there's a vampire trapped inside. I don't know what the vampire looks like. It just says a lesser vampire. They're wearing a large bloodstone. They got a silver chain around their neck, and they need to be invited into the room to break the magic holding them inside. Is that detailed in this document in the locked cabinet? It would be good to note that. I wasn't sure if you were referring to that here. This could be a super fun encounter if flavored correctly. And as a GM, I would run it like this, and it would be neat if it was already laid out this way. If it was instead like the tear-streaked, ugly crying of a woman who could totally pass for a missing villager, right? And it says here, like, they can't speak, they can beckon. And if I'm as a GM saying, oh, she's beckoning you to let her out, let her speak. It's D&D. We're role playing. It's fun. Let her speak. Let her try and trick them into inviting them in the room using clever wordplay. That is fun. That is the game. That is the mini game. That would be awesome here, I think. It would be easier if there was a secret door symbol on the map for this spot, which is room 21. It was unclear to me that the secret door over here was the one that opens when the bowl is filled up, or the crystal. I already mentioned the secret doors. Should be... Over here, for Sven Ghouli's stat block here, it says, if they run away or lead the players somewhere, they're going to try and gather thralls, right? So they're cultists. But I don't know where the thralls are located. It says, we'll try and lead them to an area where they are, but I'm not sure where they are. So just saying the room number would help me out. Otherwise, I'd have to go through and comb and scan all the entries and say, where are their cultists, where they are. He's going to lead them there, or just put some cultists in a room. I'm not sure if that was your intention. Or you could just give a flat out inventory of where the cultists are. Some modules do that, right? And they say, here's where all the cultists are. There's 20 of them, and 5 of them are in this room, 2 of them are in this room, 1 of them are in this room. And just having that summary there is super helpful, because I would be like, oh, there's a bunch of cultists in room 5, which is right over there. That's the closest one, and that's where he would be leading them to aid him in fleeing or combat. I love this. I love it so much. The accent and everything. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The follow-up section. You can get rid of all this. Keep the discount code. That's awesome. But this entry I don't think is needed. You already mentioned the 50 gold per person for the mayor. The GM doesn't need to know what happens with Davis. I would keep using him regardless if he got away. And these are, I think, just variations on that. Like, keep reusing him. He runs away. He's a slippery sucker. So I don't think this section is entirely needed. It's great. I like it. There's a lot of fun stuff here. I like the artwork that you're using. It's fun stuff. I think that's all I have for it for now. Feel free to submit this again. Let me know if you got another version there. If you don't want to follow the advice, totally fine. It looks fun. I would probably run this. I would make a few changes, but I would definitely run it. This is cool. I will post links to this adventure. And this is where it is. Revivify Games. This is that cool sideways A5 kind of thing. Super long boy. Not a tall boy, as they say on Between Two Cairns. I'll post a link to this. Go sign up for the jam. It's on itch. You can get there by searching Puzzle Dungeon Jam on itch, or you can go to puzzledungeon.com/jam. It'll take you there. Go hop on the Zine Month Discord. I will post a link to that there too. We have a guest channel on there. I'll be there. I can offer help. I'm just there to chat also. It's fun. I love that Discord. I pop in there all the time. Even though Zine Month is in February, it's active pretty much all year. And there's a bunch of fun creators in there that you can chat with and ask your questions and hang out in there. Yes. A Familiar Tower. That's my Zine Month project, actually. It's my next puzzle dungeon. It's a Wizard Tower escape room dungeon. I'm really happy with it. I'm really excited about it. If you want to go to this page, it's the backer kit page. If you sign up to follow it, I would really appreciate it. It would help with the launch in February for Zine Month. I'm happy and excited with the people I'm working with. I got Skullboy on the art, aka Sam Amelli, aka BetterLegends.com, #1 website on the internet. And I got Sam Sorensen, who's looking lovely in this pic, on development, copy, and line editing and layout, and it's going to be a good time. You can also get there by going to puzzledungeon.com/tower, in case you don't look at the comments at the page. It's been fun. I'm going to go to sleep. Good night, y'all. Thank you.